Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of TechnicTrials with your host, Nighthawk. First off, I hope everybody is not too disappointed with the change in the programming order and schedule. Had to make room for new series and new stuff, so yeah, there's that. Second real note before we get started doing more stuff on the solar factory here is I was actually just granted my partnership with RPM Networks, so I am super happy to be partnered with them. Looking forward to doing a lot of cool things with the partnership and coming up with cool new stuff that I can do with the channel to help improve things all around. So, awesome news there. Now, I just opened the ender chest that has all of the UU matter. As you can see, there's 70 nice, juicy UU matter sitting in here. Basically, I've been hanging out with, over the last several days with the world loaded in this general area, even though the chunk loaders will keep this particular chunk loaded. I've just been more hanging out in this area while I've been doing other things. And that way I can actually get UU matter so I can finally finish this project. So first thing we're going to do is come down here, and I'm going to pause for a moment to get the recipe screen up, and I will be right back. We're back. So this just slight continuity error there. This particular auto crafting table on the left here is where we're making coal out of our UU matter. And over here, we are going to make glass, which we do so with a recipe like so. And this will produce 32 glass, which then we are going to also paint this particular pipe with the lime paint brush, because that's the color that I chose to use for glass. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to go ahead and put 4 UU matter in there, and let's find the lime green, which I think is that one. So now we have that recipe programmed, and control lag. Now let's take a look at, not that, that's not what I want to do. Let's take a look at this distribution pipe. We want to make sure that there is nothing going into yellow, purple, or anywhere except for the green and the black. I think that's supposed to be black. Looks white to me, but I think that's what I determined was the correct one. So we're going to go and on this particular one, for glass, we use 12 of the glass that is produced, which is going to go out the green. So we want 12 here, and on the black, we're wasting 20 glass per batch of UU matter. Not a big deal, just that's the way it is. If we try to make more solar panels per batch, then it just becomes even harder. So that's the glass production sorted out. We've got our engines here. You'll notice that none of them are turned on. I think what I'm going to do once we get everything all set up here is take out this particular timer and move it probably up to the very top and hook it up with wireless redstone, and all of these places that need the timing signals, like the all of the transposers or filters, will just get a wireless receiver placed on them, and anywhere that needs redstone input to turn on an engine or otherwise, like these engines, we'll just put a receiver that is linked to kind of a master enable switch, just to help clean things up a little bit as far as how things look here. The other thing that we need to do, as I get blocked by pipes, is we're also going to need to bring all of the electrical wiring to all of the machines. So that's going to take a fair bit of the diamond cable, or the glass fiber cable to do. Fortunately, the other benefit of hanging around here waiting for UU matter to be produced is the tree farm down there, which also has chunk loaders, I believe has also been active and has been producing all sorts of nice and tasty wood that's been going into the condenser making diamonds. And last I looked, we had 16 extra diamonds hanging around, which is awesome, because we're probably going to need them. So now we've got the glass done. The last step, last few things that we need to build are the processing for tin and the refined iron, redstone, and we need to set up the cobblestone as well. Now, for cobblestone, we already have this machine here, and I think, whoops, not this one. I want to look at the sorting machine. I think, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ingredients total. There's 8 ingredients here. What I'm wondering is if perhaps instead of setting up a completely dedicated machine for all of the just for the extruder, or this setting up a separate extruder just for the cobblestone, that we only need 8 of them per 8 cobblestone per solar panel, and this generates it far faster than the mass fabricator will ever generate UU matter. I'm thinking that maybe we just hook this up to this chest somehow, or otherwise hook it up to the sorting machine. I don't know. I'll have to think of a good way of doing that. So I think what I'm going to do is pause the video here and do a bit more construction and set up the next phases of this. And then when I come back, we should have the majority of the machine put together and ready to work. And might even have enough UU matter around to... I know we have enough to program the sorting machine, but I don't think we have enough to actually run it through a full cycle yet. But we should be pretty close on everything except for the refined iron, or the iron phase, and we might just game the system a little bit for that one. So I will be back shortly. Okay, just a quick update on the progress here. Come over here and grab some things that I was making for next phase. In order to solve the issue with the cobblestone, what I did was put in a very, very basic logistics pipe network. And there's basically just a provider pipe that's hooked up to the ender chest that is our recyclable materials chest, which right now we have our cobblestone generator pumping into. And this connected to a auto crafting table that makes the furnaces. And then there is a a supplier pipe that's hooked up to this crafting bench, this auto crafting bench 2, that tells it to keep 4 furnaces stockpiled in it. So that should supply our recipe that we need for the generators and make it relatively clean, where we don't have to use excessively wasteful UU matter for it, and we don't have to do anything special for the to actually get it there. So right now I'm just waiting for a couple more machines. There they are to come through. I've done a little bit of the wiring work. I've got the wiring run down from underneath the transformer, and it goes down to the copper and rubber phase down here, and then over comes around and goes up into the macerator for the coal dust. And I decided that the final phase of production was going to be up on the very top of the tree house, or this tree factory. So this is the final production auto crafting table, and you can see I basically requested the items required to build them, one of these solar panels, from my existing crafting system so that I could actually program the recipe in. I didn't actually request enough to make any more solar panels, so that will have to wait until the factory is actually functioning. So anyway, I wanted to give a quick update on where things are. Oh, and the output is going to be pumping into the same ender chest where the UU matter is getting pumped into. And this will be important for the later stages of production. I had a pretty good idea that I came up with on how to manage the later stages of production that I'm going to be making use of. Anyway, I will be back once I have the next phases of this thing put together, so I will see you shortly. Okay, and now for another quick update. You can see we've got a pneumatic tube coming down here to this new level here, and this is going to come in and bring us the UU matter that we need to make tin, which then gets split up based on what we actually need, and then macerated and cooked up, and then this pipe over here is going upstairs to the next level that we're going to use to make the batteries, and that's also where all of the refined iron and redstone is going to be. See if I can manage to make my way up there. I will say that this has turned out to be a whole lot harder to actually move around in than I expected, but I'm really liking how it turns out overall, just in the very kind of combination of nature and technology all mingled together in a really complex pattern. So here's the pipe that's going to be bringing tin up, and this pipe over here will get connected to the waste system as soon as I find a way of getting it there. So anyway, on to the redstone and the refined iron, and this beast will actually be ready to start powering up. I still need to make all of the wireless receivers and all of those components, but pretty close to having a working factory going here, so I'll be back in just a little bit. And welcome back. I'm just doing the last bit of wiring here, making sure that I've got everything actually turned on. I haven't actually turned the timer on yet, but we'll do that here in just a minute, and don't have enough UU matter in stock quite yet to actually do a full cycle, but we can kind of see how this will end up working out and follow some of the first stages through and make sure that they actually function as intended. And I'm going to do that by actually putting a button in place to trigger the sorting machine. That way we don't have to worry about it sending every stage together. So basically just taking one last look, make sure, like right now I've got 15, and again it takes 77 UU matter to make a set of 4 solar panels. I think I've got everything in place. I'm using wireless redstone to basically provide a single on-off switch for the entire factory. And this is the that's the one that will actually power or trigger our sorting machine on the timer intervals. So up here, this is the factory enable switch, and this switch here will turns on and off the timer, as well as all of the machines, all of the redstone pumps, all simultaneously, thanks to the wonders of wireless redstone. I'm pretty sure I have all of these hooked up now. So this is the refined iron and redstone level, and you can see well, if I can stay on the tower, or on the tree I should say. This was not designed by any means to be pretty, but I think it turned out to be a pretty cool layout and design, and really merges this whole nature and machine environment together in a fairly unique fashion, I think. So here we have redstone getting split up to make the circuits and batteries. We've got our machine blocks being made here, and the batteries and machine blocks going up to meet up with the furnaces to make the generators. And down here we're making our wires, and at the very bottom is where we make the tin that comes up underneath this block right here, that crafting table, to make the rest. So let's see if we can hop. This is about the hardest thing to actually move around on and get to the level that you're actually aiming for, because everything is all kind of merged together in weird ways. So I'm going to cover one of these solar panels because we have enough power to work with as is right now. Make a button and trigger our first batch of UU matter. We'll watch it go and make sure that it ends up in the macerator. There's the coal coming out. It's going to go into this macerator here. And the macerator is probably going to run out of power before it... I'm hoping it'll finish at least one coal dust. Doesn't look like it's likely to, though. Maybe. Had just enough to finish one. Oh, and I just found one machine, or one spot that I did not have turned on yet. That's the one redstone engine that still needs to be powered. I gotta figure out how to get over to it. So basically, this whole thing now is a big parkour puzzle that was never designed to be a parkour puzzle. Do I have more remotes? No. And I don't have redstone down to anywhere. Whoops. Let's go back up to the top and see if I can get at least one more receiver. There we go. Oh, and I'm out of obsidian. That's why I didn't make any more of them before. I can transmute to obsidian, but I have to actually go down to the rest of the facility to do so. Let's see here. I guess for testing purposes, I'll cheat a little bit here. See, if I was smart while I was jumping around this maze, I would keep my Sword of the Zephyr equipped so that I didn't keep taking fall damage. Okay, so what I'm going to do to cheat this a little bit right now is put a redstone torch right there, just to turn that particular redstone engine on. And now we can watch to make sure that our coal dust goes through. It's going to get accelerated up into the final stage. And I made that so that I can't easily jump up on top. Unintentionally so. There we go. So make sure our coal dust, so we got coal dust in here. I'm going to take the cobblestone out. That was an accident. So we know our coal dust portion of this machine works. The coal dust gets to the right place. And I think if we look in the macerator, we should see we had one already go through. We have 11 left, which means that there was 12 coal total, which is enough to make our set of 4 solar panels. So we know we have that part programmed correctly as well. So we still have 13 UU matter left. The next stage takes 4 UU matter, so let's go ahead and hit that one. And this is green, which is going to go down to here, which is our sticky resin. So sticky resin is going to come over to the extractor, and that's as far as I can get over to C, because I'm kind of stuck here. And you can see the extractor's working. This is going to be a real pain to troubleshoot if I didn't get this all correct the first time, just because it's hard to actually get to the various places to see what's going on. Ooh, lagging a little bit here. So I think the first bits of rubber are... I guess it's sending our waste rubber out first, because it's the blue color first. So that should be okay. That should all come into here correctly when all is said and done. It's a shame that the waste goes first, but oh well. What can you do? So let's come back over here, and we have 9 UU matter left. Our next phase takes 6 UU matter. So let's go ahead and follow it. This should be going down to the copper phase. And here it goes. And out comes copper ore blocks. So if I did this right, 7 of them will go down into this macerator, and then 3 will end up going up through to the waste to be recycled back into scrap. So 7 went down, and there went 3 going up. Macerators, slight problem. Apparently, it's going into the wrong part of the macerator. And apparently it's going into the wrong part of the furnace too. Because it basically just put it into this slot and passed it straight through to the crafting bench, which is not going to do anyone any good. So I'm going to have to do some troubleshooting on the phases that actually are using the macerators. I'll probably do a little bit of troubleshooting on my test world just to make sure that I can get the power into, or get things going into the correct side. I think the next phase of this I believe the lime is glass. Oops. And we do not have enough UU matter left for the glass, so that part will have to wait. And I will, once I troubleshoot the orientation of the machines and how the piping has to go into them, then I will get that part all working on all of the phases, and I'll just stick the copper into the macerator to jump it by the rest of this phase. Now, what I'm curious about, let me see here. I guess what I did here, I guess I have to come into the top of the, at least the top of the macerator, probably the top of the furnaces too, because that's how I got the that's how I got that part in. So I will probably have to do some replumbing of the all of the piping on these machines, and possibly do some rewiring work to get all of these things sorted out and putting things into the correct locations. So anyway, the good news though is that our phase 1 is just about complete, and we'll start producing we'll actually start producing solar panels out of this mess. It does take, at this point, a very long time to actually produce enough UU matter for even one solar panel, so, or for one batch of solar panels, so we're not going to be making them fast anytime soon, but at least we can start making them. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this series and all of the work done on this solar factory, and hope you guys like the way that this actually turned out. I don't know if I will... I may change some of the way that it's decorated later on. I may leave it just kind of like it is, just as this weird merging of technology and nature. Just sort of feels right to be kind of industrial, even though it's merged with nature like this. So I may end up leaving it very much just like it is. Anyway, again, I hope you guys are enjoying this series, and please like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!